Hi everybody, we're the Fantuzzos. We are so excited to tell you about our house hunting journey. But before we do that, we just want to take a minute to introduce ourselves. I'm Sarah, I'm 31 years old, and I work in human resources for a large company in downtown Pittsburgh.
And I'm Michael, I'm 30 years old, and I'm an occupational therapist, and I work with kids 0 to 3 years of age. We have a 7-month-old son, almost 8 months now. His name's Jordan, and we also have a black lab. His name's Bucko. He's 2 years old.
Some of the things we like to do for fun, we love sports, so that's a big part of our lives. We love to attend sporting events. We love the Pittsburgh Pirates, and we love the Pittsburgh Steelers. And in addition to that, we love to entertain. We always love to have a house full of people, especially during football season or when there's a big baseball game on. We always have our big family over, lots of friends. There's always food. So
Too much food.
Yeah, definitely too much food. But so one of the things you'll hear as we talk about what we're looking for in a home really has to do with having a lot of space for entertaining. But I think before we jump into a little bit about the type of house we want to talk a little bit about why we need a house now so desperately. So we've been together for about 5 years.
5 years.
We've been married for 3. And shortly after we got married, we bought our first home, a nice townhouse, perfect starter home for a young couple. But not too long after we got our house, we got our puppy, and then about a year and a half later, we had our son. So very, very quickly, that house started to feel very tiny, was just covered with baby stuff. So I know for me, the inside, even though it was 3 bedrooms, 3 very nice sized bedrooms, we had those extra bedrooms for storage and, extra closet space. And we suddenly lost one of our bedrooms, and all our living space was overtaken by baby stuff. So for me, I was ready to go.
Yeah, I agree. We have an energetic dog, in a townhouse, no yard. So anytime he'd have to go outside, it'd have to be on a leash. And here in Pittsburgh, it gets freezing temperatures from October to April, May even. So I'm taking him outside every day, multiple times in the evening, and it's freezing, and I just hated it, and I can't do that anymore. And then 2-car garage. We only have one, so it leaves 1 car outside, which was mine. So that wasn't fun for me every morning either, going out scraping it off when it's cold out. Yeah. So those are some of the things that I didn't like about it.
So we actually sold our townhouse a lot more quickly than we anticipated. Mm-hmm. So we had to be out well before we even had a house. So Mike's uncle was nice enough to take us in. But now there are, too many adults living in a very small house. We're sharing a very tiny bedroom, a little tiny space for the baby, and the dog. So we are just desperate to get into a new home.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think with that, we'll start telling you a little bit about what we're looking for, the types of houses we want, and our wish list items. So Mike,
all right. So there are 3 big things that I want in our house. Number 1 thing is a big yard. She can talk about anything she wants, but if there's not a big yard, it's out. Which also is kind of a deal breaker for me. So I want a yard that our son can go out and play, a play set, a sandbox, and I also want a large yard so we can take the dog out, and I don't have to go walking him on a leash. And he can play ball and do his thing. The second thing is I want a 2-car garage, like I talked about before. It takes a lot of time out of my morning to go out and clean off my car or start it, especially in the winter time, even the springtime and fall time here when it's cold. So it has to have a 2-car garage so that we can put both cars in there. The other thing is I want a big basement. Like Sarah said, we entertain a ton, we have people over, food all over the place, and we need a large entertainment spot to do that. A couple other things on my wish list are I want a French door refrigerator. Why? Because right now we have a side-by-side one, or we had a side-by-side fridge, and it just wasn't working. There was enough space to put everything that we would buy at the grocery store. So we need some more space for that. And the other thing is a double vanity in the master bathroom. I've had to share my space with her for how long now? She's a little bit messy at times. So I'd like to have my own little space in the bathroom.
I don't think I'm messy per se. I just have a lot of stuff. So I would say those items that he's interested in, the garage, the yard, it's great. But it kind of comes second to some of the things that I'm looking for, at least in my opinion. So as we talked about earlier, entertaining is such a big part of our lives. So I think more important than the basement is a very large kitchen. One of the things we do agree on is open concept. We have to have open concept. So I more or less see the importance being with a huge kitchen leading into a nice big family room with kind of a dining area, a formal dining room so that everybody can all be on the same floor. I personally see a basement more as an area where we can maybe, put some toys or some storage. But when I entertain, I want everybody together. When we had the townhouse, we didn't have that. So for me personally, I don't want to see people down in the basement. I want everybody in my big kitchen. Another thing that I'd really love to see is just some very... what do I want to say, like some ornate finishings around the house. I love crown molding. I love the chair rail or wainscoting in a dining room. Just those little touches that make the house look that much prettier, that much more finished. I think that's really important just to the overall look of the house.
Now, what's ironic is I'm actually the one who does a lot of the cooking, mostly all of the cooking, but she wants the big kitchen.
I do want the big kitchen.
So it's a little bit ironic, and also for the finishes, we can get that done at another time. It's more important that we have the lot size.
And by get it done another time, it means it'll never happen. Never happen. So it's one of the things I'm looking for. Also, just to go back to the kitchen, I would love to have the kitchen updated. I don't like builder's grade. So I'd like to see new cabinets, granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, and a very large pantry. I think that covers kind of our wish list items. One of the things, though, we each have our own kind of agenda or wish list when it comes to the type of house we want. So I love a craftsman or a big colonial. I love a 2-story. I do not want to have my living spaces and my bedrooms on the same floor. I grew up in a ranch, and I don't think there's as much privacy. So for me, it absolutely has to be 2-story. I think that's just the way to go for our growing family.
And I'm more of a ranch house kind of guy. I like everything on the main floor, eliminate those steps. Now, I don't want a small ranch, I want a nice big ranch with big rooms, big living spaces, a big yard. And also, I'm not the most handy kind of guy, so I don't want to have to do a lot of maintenance on, a 2-story house if something happens up top. So, the lower to the ground it is, the better it is for me.
And we can hire people for that. So it's definitely going to be a 2-story house. Has to be a 2-story house. Couple other deal breakers. Believe it or not, a couple that we agree on. Definitely 4-bedroom. Minimum 2 full bathroom, 1 half bath. A 3rd bathroom would be nice. Couple deal breakers for me. I hate glass shower doors. Don't ask me why. I don't want glass shower doors. And I also have to have a very large master suite. So we have a baby now, we have the dog, we're kind of always running all over the place. I want somewhere where I can just go and relax. I'd kind of like a nice soaking tub, walk-in closets. I do not want double sinks. I want 1 sink with a nice big vanity where I can put out all of my makeup and my hair supplies so I have room to get ready. Also, if there's, a double sink, he might linger around a little more. I don't know. I'm not really sure why we have to have this double sink, but I'll have my space be messy, as he says.
So now she's taking 1 sink and moving it into basically room for 2 sinks for all her space.
Right, exactly.
We'll figure that out later.
Well, I think that covers the type of house we want, our wish list, and our deal breakers. So at this point, we just want to take you on a quick tour of the house we're in right now, and just to kind of give you a little sense of some things that we like and don't like. So I'm going to start in the kitchen. So I'll just come through the dining room here. Okay, so the kitchen we're in now, I would say overall it's okay. What I like is I do like the granite tops. I mean, that gives the overall kitchen a very nice look. What isn't working for me are the oak, very builder's grade looking cabinets, although I will say these are somewhat updated. That oak finish is just not my thing. So, you know, that right there, I'd be very hard pressed to even want to look at a house that had a kitchen like this. Also, I can go from one end of the kitchen to the other practically with only taking one step. Again, as I mentioned, this doesn't give me a lot of room for entertaining. So when guests are over, you know, we're going to be elbow to elbow, neck to neck. I'd love to have room for an island where I can put all the food out. Also, as you notice when we walk through, this kitchen is closed off from the rest of the house. So when we have guests over and I'm cooking and prepping and cleaning and doing all those hostess activities, I can't be part of the fun going on with our guests. So between the cabinets and the small closed off space, doesn't work for me. So, Mike, I think we're going to go ahead and walk outside.
Follow me outside. All right, I'm going to take you guys to the yard here. All right, so as you can see, it's an upgrade from what we had at our townhouse. We actually have some grass area out here that we can use, but very small. If we put a swing set back here, it basically takes up the whole yard. So, you know, there's nowhere for the dog to run. There's no room to do anything else back here. The other thing you'll see is, you know, there's no garage leading out to the yard. Just the house, you know, and then right here, there's a shed back there, which is nice. Store some stuff in there, but still it doesn't make up for that lack of garage that leads out to here. The other thing is, you know, we got the hillside here and it's not fenced in everywhere, so the dog can run out of the yard as well as our son if we're not keeping a complete eye on him. So, you know, it's a nice little space, but, you know, for me it's not quite big enough for what we are looking for what I'm looking for. And I just want something, you know, definitely a lot bigger that I can walk into the garage as well. So let's head back inside.
Okay, well, I think that wraps up our tour. We've hoped you enjoyed watching our video. You got to know a little bit about us and what we like and what we don't like. We love the show, so we really hope you'll consider us. Anything you want to add?
No, thanks for this opportunity, and we definitely hope to hear from you and experience our journey a little further.
Bye.
Bye.